Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Aggieville Alleycats podcast, where come rain, shine, or anything in between, we're here to deliver to you the Kansas State sporting news that you so love. I'm Ace Edwards, right alongside
Connor Balthazar.
And today we're going to be doing the weekly recap. It's been
like 2 weeks,
week
and a half.
It's been like a couple weeks.
It's been a little while.
It's been a little while. We've both been busy. That'll be our excuse.
Yeah.
College students, life is busy.
It's erratic.
Always. But we're going to be going over the new commit, new again in quotation marks, commit for the 2023 cycle, as well as going over men and women's Catsketball. But without any further delay, let's begin with football recruiting, as your Kansas State Wildcats get the first commit of the 2023 cycle, and it is someone that we have been watching for a very long time, and that is Camden Beebe, the younger brother of current All Big 12 left tackle Cooper Beebe, and he's a 3-star offensive lineman from the same city as Cooper Beebe, surprise, surprise, KC Piper. And he is, many people have described him as a mauler, which when you're 6'3", 315 per your 24/7 page, yeah, you probably are.
Yeah, he kind of has to be. He's very similar to Cooper. His arms maybe aren't quite as long as Cooper, and that's maybe about it. He's definitely more an interior guy than someone that can be kicked out to tackle. And Cooper's only playing out there just out of necessity because he's
still an All Big 12 tackle.
Yeah, his natural position is the inside, but if you're an All Big 12 tackle, you're playing tackle. Sorry. And the BB, he's a really nice pickup. Just a couple days ago, 24/7 released their initial rankings for the class of 2023 in the state of Kansas. BB in composite rankings comes in at 5th. He's a little bit lower, I believe, in the in-house 24/7 rankings.
I think he's like 7th or something.
Yeah, and it's a very deep class for Kansas this year. This is probably the best Kansas recruiting class in at least a decade.
Yeah. From
what I can tell, just going back and looking. It's been a while since there's been this much talent coming out of the state. Because, you have Avery Johnson, John Randall, Dylan Edwards, Jaden Ham up there at the top. And there's going to be a lot of guys that K-State's going to have their eyes on as well
Bender.
Here. Yeah, Bender, Andre Davis, Joe Otting is another one to keep your eyes on. But BB is the first one to pull the trigger here. This is something that's been kind of known, I think, for a while. Like, I think it was pretty safe to assume that Cooper Beebe's brother was going to come here, especially with what a great experience Cooper's having starting on the offensive line. But Camden, he's out of Piper High School in KC. He's a 3-star. He's the 41st ranked interior offensive lineman in the country, putting him at 529 nationally. His composite ranking is a .8577. His in-house ranking for 24/7 is an 86. I've not had as much opportunity as I would like to watch a lot of film on him, but what little I have seen, the Mauler description that you used is apt, I would say, to put it lightly.
Big man.
That's definitely his MO, is to just bully people.
I mean, can we move him to nose tackle?
No, we're not.
People are he committed, and like 20 minutes later, there was a thread. It's like, can we move him to nose tackle? No. Stop it.
We are not moving every offensive lineman to nose tackle. So knock it off.
Please.
But, yeah, BB, excellent interior offensive line recruit. There's going to be some guys to look for in the future, committing, hopefully, in the offensive line realm. I'm really hoping that we land Joe Otting because he'll be a tackle prospect, and you could argue that he's maybe even a little bit better than Camden Beebe, although they do play different positions on the line, and Otting is a little taller, a little bit slimmer, fits the tackle build a little bit better. Mm-hmm. But Camden Beebe is an excellent start to a recruiting class. You can't ask for a much better anchor, I think, for your class to help get guys on board, especially an in-state kid. So
yeah, absolutely. But, man, that just got me thinking about the 23 recruiting special that we'll get to do probably sometime in June.
Yep.
This time it won't be 3 hours.
Yeah, it will not. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm imagining we'll have at least probably 3 or 4 total commits by then.
Hopefully so.
Yeah. And I've already been starting to watch some film on a few guys. I mean, we've seen plenty of Avery Johnson and Dylan Edwards at this point. I mean, we see their highlights during the season every single week.
Yeah.
I mean, every highlight for Dylan Edwards is just a long run where he's just better than everybody.
Yeah.
That's honestly the same thing for Avery Johnson, except he's just a different position. But
he's built different.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Zane Flores film this week, the new QB we offered. I really like him. Like him a lot. So.
Looked to me for approval.
I did.
Last night.
I did.
It's like, is he good? I'm like, yeah, he's good. Thank God.
Because I was watching him and I was getting excited. I was like, he looks really good. And I was like, well, hold on. Let me ask someone that isn't stupid.
We're not stupid.
And I asked Ace. And he's like, yeah, he's good. And I was like, oh.
Oh.
So he's actually good.
Ace didn't immediately start complaining.
Yeah. He doesn't pigeon toe.
He doesn't pitch.
At least not normally. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's stuff we can get into in the future. Hopefully, when he commits, if he does. Hope he does.
We're just going to commit everyone in the country.
Get Zane and Avery.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd allow it.
Be insane.
That would be insane. It'd be Avery, K-State fans' dream.
Okay. But yeah, that's the first commit of the 2023 cycle. Now we can start talking about the weekly recap segments. We have 4 games for both the men and women's Catsketball team. We'll try not to spend more than 10, 15 minutes on each, because otherwise...
That'd be a lot.
That'd be a lot. But the first game was the men's Catsketball game against Ole Miss, which is the 5th time that we've declared this team dead, because this was a horrible game. This is the game that Connor and I kind of both decided that going out of our way for the men's basketball team is just not worth it.
Yeah.
Which it sounds horribly harsh, but it's kind of deserved.
Yeah, I mean, I have very choppy memories of this game, primarily because we watched the
first half. It's so long.
Yeah, we watched the first half. It's so long, Saloon, and it was the TV was at a very strange angle.
But apparently, so was the the camera angle.
Yeah, I was watching. From. Yeah, I was watching the on TV. I'm like, this is a really weird angle, because we were sitting really kind of far under it, so the shots just just kind of
craning our necks.
It just looked like the shots just kind of kept going up and then just kind of landed in the bucket or didn't. It was weird, and apparently it was just an issue with the camera angle in general, kind of like Oklahoma State's arena, because they have a really strange camera angle there too.
Yeah,
but you know what? Good angle or bad angle. Still an awful game, honestly. I mean, dropping a game to, granted, not the worst team in the world, but this is an Ole Miss squad that we had no business losing to, I feel. I think we matched up well with them. But I'll go ahead and get into stats here. This is once again a tragic tale of Nigel Pack and Mark Smith doing really well, and literally nobody else doing well. Mark Smith had 20 points and 16 rebounds, which is just hilarious. Mark went 6 of 14 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3, 6 of 7 from the free throw line. He had 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 2 steals. Nigel had 18 points, 7 assists, 0 turnovers, 2 rebounds, 6 of 17 from the field, 6 of 13 from 3. After that, it gets pretty dire. I'm not going to lie. Marquis Noel, he has 5 points, 2 of 11 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3. And then adds 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 turnovers, a steal, 4 fouls. Not a very good game for Noel. Mike McGurl had an awful game. He had 2 points, 1 of 9 from the field, 0-4 from 3, 3 rebounds, 3 fouls, 2 assists, no turnovers. I guess at least he didn't turn the ball over, but... And Carlton Lingard started with Davion Bradford was nursing an injury this game, and Casey Eziagu playing very poorly in this stretch. Although Carlton, he only played 17 minutes. He had 2 points, 2 rebounds, 3 fouls, a block, and a steal. Luka Subki, he had 7 points, including a 4-point play at the end of the first half, which came out of absolutely nowhere.
Yep.
Went 2 of 5 from the field, same line from 3. All of his shot attempts were from 3. Made his free throw in that 4-point play. And he had 5 rebounds, 3 fouls, and then a steal. Ish Masood, he had 2 points, and nobody else scored, including Casey Ziegu and Davion Bradford, who played 12 combined minutes, only 2 of those coming from Bradford. And the only statistics that they registered were a missed field goal attempt and 3 fouls from Casey Ziegu. So that's a combined, in doing mental math, 29 minutes of action combined between Carlton and guard Casey Ziegu and Davion Bradford. I guess we can throw Ish Masood in there. Why not? I mean that takes it from 29 to 44 minutes.
44. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank God. And that makes them 2 of 7 from the field for 4 points. Like a million fouls. Only 1 turnover somehow, but I think it's just because they weren't getting the ball. I mean, the point that I'm trying to make here is that the bigs are terrible, and they've been playing bad, I should say.
I hope you guys are ready for that to be a theme.
Yeah, that's going to be a very common theme going forward in this episode. And this is a game where, you have one of those bigs, and if you have one of those bigs have a serviceable performance, 8 points, 6 points, 8 points, something like that, and generally don't commit too many fouls and get a few rebounds here and there, you win. This is probably a winnable game. That, and you can't have Marquis Noel and Mike McGrill go combine 3 of 20 from the field for 7 points. So, but yeah, it's a rough game for the Cats. They only had 5 turnovers in this game, which makes it ludicrous that they lose by 11, 67-56, especially to an Ole Miss team that was missing their top scorer. But Ole Miss had a solid enough shooting day. 45% from the field, 33% from 3, 75% from the free throw line. This is literally the most standard, hey, pretty good shooting day that you can have.
Yeah.
Cats shot 30% from the field, 30% from 3, actually slightly higher from 3, and then 87% at the foul line. All in all, this is just a very, very, very bad day, considering the opponent, and considering that you had Mark Smith go for 20 and 16, and Nigel drop another 18, 7 assists and 0 turnovers, and you lose by double digits.
Yep. But the next game actually was considerably better because it was Kansas State versus Okie State in Bramlage Coliseum, a game that was very icy outside, but they allowed students in for free, and therefore the student section really got packed, and no pun intended, and it was actually a really good environment. This was a game that Kansas State ended up winning 71-68 off of, well, let's just call it what it is. Nigel Pack just absolutely refusing to lose this game and hitting a last-second 3, which I was having flashbacks to the Marquette game where we just could not score in that last possession.
Right.
And it was painful. And then Nigel Pack hit a 3, and I'm like, wait a minute. Are we going to win this game? And then we won the game. I'm like, all right, cool. Sick, pushing Pack.
Yeah, I wasn't able to make this game, but Nigel Pack, he finishes with 22 points to go with 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, and 3 steals. He went 9-17 from the field, 4-7 from 3. He was especially hot in the first half, as I recall.
Yeah.
And because I don't think he missed a shot in the first half.
No, he was going insane in the first half.
Nigel Pack, another excellent game in a Wildcat uniform. Mark Smith, he also had another great game. Another 20-point performance from him. He had 21 points, 9 rebounds, an assist, 3 turnovers, and a steal and 1 foul. So he was 1 rebound away from another double-double. The 7 and 12 from the field, 2 6 and 3, 5 and 6 in the free throw line. So fairly efficient day from Mark Smith, and really played well. as the wingman to Nigel Pack, no pun intended. And then Marquis Noel, he scored more. He still wasn't the most efficient shooting, but honestly, 4 of 11 isn't terrible. 2 of 5 from 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. So he gets 12 points there, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 turnovers, and 2 fouls. Mike McGurl, not an efficient shooter, but he did make up for it in other areas. He had 6 points, 3 of 10 from the field, 0 of 2 from the 3. But he had 10 rebounds, just 1 foul, 4 assists, no turnovers. So
that's the performance you need from Mike.
Yes. Yeah, you love to see that performance. Of course, you'd like him to maybe do a little bit better in shot selection, but 10 rebounds, 4 assists, and no turnovers. Can't complain too much with that. Davion Bradford was back in the starting lineup. He had 5 points on 2 of 5 from the field, 3 rebounds, 3 fouls, 2 assists, 3 turnovers, a block, and a steal. All things considered, you could get much worse from Davion.
From Davion, and believe me, in a couple of games, you will see the much worse.
Yep. And Lucas Supke, 1 of 2 from the field, made his lone 3-point attempt.
The random Luke Kasubki 3.
Yeah,
it's a tradition at this point.
Unlike any other. And he added a rebound and a turnover, finished with 3 points. Ish Masood, 2 points with a foul and an assist on 1 of 4 from the field, 0-2 from 3. Then Carlton Lingard and Casey Eziagu each played 4 minutes. Either of them, that is, had a field goal attempt, free throw attempt, or any points. Lingard had a steal, and Casey had a rebound, a foul, and a turnover. Very Casey-esque stat line there.
That's an Eziagu stat line.
Yep. And the Cats, they shoot 61% from the field in the first half, 54% from the 3-point line, and 44% for the game, 39% from the 3 for the game, and 80% the free throw line. That's because they were horrible shooting in the second half. 31% from the field, 25% from the 3. So that's a rocky finish, but they are able to get to the foul line just enough, and Nigel Pack hits the big time 3 at the buzzer to put the Cats ahead in this one and win a very winnable game that they just about choked away after 22 points from Bryce Thompson, 18 from Rondell Walker. Then I was very worried for a while when Keelan Boone, who was like a 25% 3-point shooter coming into the game, hit like 3 straight threes. Yep. I was like, it's the patented horrible 3-point shooter goes off against K-State game, which is every game.
A tradition unlike any other. But also, I think they got teched, did they? Someone got teched. Or was it this game? I
think there was an intentional foul in this game.
Oh, okay.
I think there was multiple. Because there was that string of games, or I think there might have been one against, I think there may have been one either at TCU or at Ole Miss. And then there was a couple, I think, in this game. It was like the most intentional fouls I had ever seen, like in such a short span of time, because I've literally seen like 1 other intentional foul in my life. And there was like 3 in 2 games, which I thought was really strange. But I mean, I don't know. Cats as a whole, they play an excellent first half, and they are able to survive a second half surge from Oklahoma State, which, I mean, like, we should be able to do that. Like, I mean, you'd like to win by a little bit more, but I mean, at that point in the season, you got to take anything you can get.
Yeah,
because they weren't getting much. So
no.
So yeah, they had to get a few favors from Oklahoma State down the stretch. But you know what? At the end of the day, a dub is a dub, and you got to know how to value them when you have them.
Absolutely. So. And then the next one was them deciding that they were going to revive themselves again for another game, because this team cannot find consistency in literally anything they do. But it was a victory against TCU, 75-63. And this was a game that was going on at the exact same time as a women's game. And it was really, really interesting, to say the least. But both games were, actually. But we were actually at the women's game, so we ended up just catching bits and pieces of this game.
Yeah, especially because they didn't like
the controversy regarding ESPN.
Yeah, because it was on the ESPNU, and it wasn't streaming on the ESPN app.
Which they lied. They were lying.
It was strange. And then it was Northern Iowa Drake on ESPNU.
Of all the games.
Yeah, went into overtime, and the last 10 seconds lasted like 10 minutes, it felt like. So
Yep.
nobody on Earth other than people in Fort Worth were able to see any of the K-State TCU game.
Which apparently there were a lot of people in Fort Worth.
Yes, it was the second largest student crowd ever for TCU, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's number one.
It was earlier this year. I forget who it was.
Having a big year, I
Yeah.
guess.
I mean, they are like they've been having a pretty solid year for TCU.
Yeah, true.
Because they don't have a lot of basketball history, but they nobody was able to watch this game until like the 11-minute mark, and even then, like the stream was a little sketchy.
Yeah, watching people
in Brandridge
in blue,
Yeah.
and it was all blue.
Yeah, the connection was rough. The color grading was horrible. Like, granted,
No one on Twitter was happy about this broadcast.
no, yeah, it was pretty awful. Honestly, it would have been better if it was on ESPN Plus. Like, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
it would, which I never thought I would hear the day where either of us said that.
No, but ESPN Plus, like they're here to stay. So, but the Cats win this game and they're able to fend off some rallying by TCU in the second half to win a game on the road by double digits. How about that? Clap, yeah, snaps for Kansas State winning a road game convincingly. So good for
Something the
them.
women team hasn't really done recently.
Unfortunately, you're right.
But we'll get into that.
We'll get into that. But statistically, this game, Nigel Pack, he plays 38 minutes, so pretty much the whole game. He logs 20 points on 7 of 10 from the field, 3 of 6 shooting, 3 or 4 from the free throw line, so lights out from the field for Pack. 4 rebounds, 3 fouls, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, and 4 steals. Mark Smith has another great day. 16 points, 10 rebounds, 5 of 12 shooting, didn't make any threes, and 6 of 8 from the free throw line, that is. He had 4 fouls, 1 assist, 3 turnovers. Marquis Noel, another volume shooting day. He took the most shots on the team, only made 5, went 1 of 6 from 3, and went 3 of 5 from the free throw line. He had 14 points, but again, took a lot of shots to get there. 6 rebounds, 1 foul, 6 assists, 2 3 turnovers, and 2 steals. And Mike McGurl actually had a pretty all-right day. He had 13 points, 4 of 10 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3. Made both his free throws, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, a turnover, 2 steals. Rounding out the starting lineup, Stavion Bradford, who had 4 points on 2 of 2 shooting, 1 rebound, 4 fouls, 2 turnovers. So, not the best day from Davion. At least he didn't miss any shots, I guess.
Yeah.
Carlton Lingard, he plays 12 minutes, gets 5 points, 2 of 3 from the field, and made a free throw, 1 rebound, 2 fouls. Ish Masood made a 3, had 3 rebounds, 2 fouls, 1 turnover, and a block. Casey Eziagu, he came in for 6 minutes, somehow got 3 fouls in 6 minutes, and he also had a turnover.
Wuss gets time on the court, gets 3 fouls in 6 minutes, refuses to elaborate, and then leaves.
The fouls per minute for Casey is just out of control.
None of our...
Yeah.
That's a general note. We'll stay for the end.
And Luke Kasuki comes in for 4 minutes, misses 2 threes, and does nothing else. So
Refuses to elaborate, and then leaves.
Yeah. So, outside of, 4 players for the Cats hitting double figures, nobody has a good game, honestly. Even then, Mike, he did miss a lot of shots. Marquis was really inefficient. But yeah, beyond those 4 guys in the backcourt, it was a struggle bus. I mean, this is a team that, Nigel Pack doesn't exist. It's worse than last year.
Yeah.
But
And that's terrifying.
Yep. After the game, Francisco Farabello, TCU, he said that Nigel Pack was, I think he said he was the best shooter in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Because it was misquoted originally as being the best player, which is not what he said.
No.
Yeah, he said that he thinks Nigel Pack is the best shooter, which I agree.
Yeah.
Like,
Probably so.
I don't think he's the best player in the Big 12, but
No.
he's pretty good shooting. But the Cats go 46% from the field, 33% from 3, 75% from the free throw line. This is such a basic, hey, we had a pretty solid game stat line. I said it earlier for another team, so I have to be fair.
Yeah.
And then TCU, 59% on the free throw line is rough, especially on 22 attempts. Just under 40% from the field, 21% from 3. I mean, I would be infuriated if I was a TCU fan, especially going 1 of 14 in the second half from 3.
What do you mean you would be infuriated? We watch K-State games like this.
Yeah, you're right. But it's tough to see that happen, especially that 3-point percentage in the second half. And then also missing Mike Miles, their best player. That makes for a game you really want back as a TCU fan. But
you can't have it back. It's ours.
Nope, it's ours. Cats will take it. I'll absolutely take 35 in the first and 40 in the second half. So, I mean, it's a rare second half improvement down the stretch for the Cats. Although we did get some help from TCU being incapable of making their free throws down the stretch. Granted, we weren't doing very well with them either in the late stages, but TCU was really struggling down the line in that regard. But you know what? That's 2 Cats dubs in a row, including a road Big 12 game. Thinking back to last year, the road game against TCU, that was an 8-point win for K-State when it really just seemed rough. Like after like a 13-14 game losing streak or whatever it was.
Whatever it was.
And that was a game that really put K-State on track, was being able to get that road win down in Fort Worth at a very not easy place to play against a quality TCU opponent. So,
man, we were really excited. What could the future possibly? Oh,
yeah. What will happen to the Cats in the next game? Well,
it's Baylor, and
it's Baylor.
I regret to inform all of you that we lost to Baylor 75-60, and even though that seems like a pretty bad score, for the Cats.
Yeah.
I guarantee you the game was worse than the score indicates.
Yeah. This was a game that really got out of control in the second half.
After being tied in the first half.
Yeah, it was tied at halftime, and that was with a Baylor run to end the first half as well.
Which that's kind of when we should have known.
Yeah. I will preface this with saying that the refs were awful. Like,
oh God.
Like, there was a hilarious amount of travels that weren't called, and just generally
roll travels.
Yeah, there was like the one pass that Baylor threw out of bounds that definitely was deflected by us, that they just said
they
whatever.
Just let it play.
Yeah, it was like, I'll take it, but also you're very wrong.
Yeah, like you guys might be stupid.
Yeah, but this was a rough game to watch, because this is one of those games where, I mean, if you have a post player that's playing at an average level, you have a very, very good chance of upsetting a highly ranked team. But
we don't have that.
But nay.
However, no.
We do have a Nigel Pack, and that's why this is going to be a frustrating game to talk about. Because Nigel Pack, he dropped 31 points, 10 of 19 from the field, 4 of 9 from 3, 7 of 10 at the free throw line. And had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, a foul, 3 steals. Mark Smith, he had 17 points, 8 rebounds, so got close to another double-double. 7 of 13 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, made both his free throws, 3 fouls, 1 assist, 4 turnovers. After that, it's really rough.
Yeah, after that, there's literally no one else on the team worth noting.
Yeah, I mean, we're going
to... none for a good reason.
Yeah, we're going to do it anyways, but you're not going to like it.
No.
Yeah, because, I mean, you go through... the rest.
I just looked at who the second leading scorer is.
Yeah, the rest of the team, and I mean, because you have Nigel having a phenomenal game, 31 points, just simply dominating the score sheet. But
he was pushing Pack.
he was pushing Pack. Like he has that name for a reason. Mark Smith, he had a solid day too. He was driving to the bucket and making those contested layups at the beginning of the season he was not making. So Mark Smith has taken a marked improvement from...
Is it just puns this episode?
It's just puns.
Did we just decide that this was the pun episode?
We're pushing puns on this episode.
Okay, dude.
But you know what? Other than Nigel and Mark, you get 12 points combined from the rest of the roster. Because you get 4 from Kasubki, who...
second leading scorer.
Yeah, who had 4 points. He's the third leading, Nigel and Mark. But I mean, we'll just make them a singular entity for these purposes, and
for the narrative.
Yeah, Kasubki. Yeah, he did have 2 really nice layups, especially his one in the first half on the fast break, where last year's Kasubuki, I think, just gets absolutely swatted into oblivion on that play because he goes for the dunk and he can't do it. But this time he puts the ball up and then like brings it all the way back and then puts it back up.
It looked like he was going to go for the dunk, but then he realized, like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait.
And I think that's because last year at Baylor, he, in the exact same situation, got completely swatted. And he learned, and this year he made an adjustment. So, hey,
I'm learning.
Kasubuki is improving. That's a silver lining, I guess.
The silver lining.
The bad news is that everyone else got worse. Mike McGurl had an atrocious game. He's had some duds this season. This may have been his worst performance, unfortunately.
Oh, we had a couple of worst performances today.
Yeah. Mike, he had 3 points, 1 of 3 from the field, 0 of 1 from 3, 1 of 5 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 4 fouls, no assists, 4 turnovers, including an absolutely mind-numbing Error 404, no connection detected, Wi-Fi down, out of cell data moment where
Windows shutdown noise.
Yeah, he just held the ball and didn't dribble, which is despicable because in college basketball they've changed the close guarding rule where you just have to dribble. It's if you just hold the ball, that's the 5-second call. If he just takes a single dribble, then that's irrelevant. Like the clock on that resets. But instead he just stood there for probably 7 seconds. The ref gave him a cushion. And he just got one of the worst turnovers I've seen all season from this K-State team.
From a fifth year, from like an 87th year senior.
Yeah. I mean, and that was rough, which granted, Mike, when it rains for Mike, it
pours.
Absolutely pouring.
It is a tsunami.
Yeah. So when it just gets bad and it gets worse for Mike. When he's on, but you know, it's very hot and cold. But he had a very rough game, didn't do a lot well. The only thing that he did do particularly well was he had a really nice and one. I'll give him that. He had that and one early in the game, drove to the bucket and made a really tough layup while getting fouled and falling. And then landed on his hand. Maybe part of the reason for his rough performance, because he did look like he kind of got hurt after that. He converted the and one, and then kind of didn't do anything the rest of the game.
Not kind of, he literally did.
Yeah,
he literally didn't score.
Rebounds, and that's it. That's it.
He's smart.
And then, so that's 3 of the starters. The remaining 2 are Davion Bradford and Marquis Noel. They combined for 1 point, and you're not going to believe who it came from, because it wasn't Marquis.
I didn't.
Davion. He had a very rough game. He did have 2 blocks, and he went 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 0 of 3 from the field, so he had that 1 point. He had 3 rebounds, 2 fouls, 1 assist, no turnovers, but that doesn't really speak to the game that he had, because there were just a lot of really rough moments for Davion in this game. You know, missing easy plays, getting swatted by players shorter than him. I mean, he's 7 feet tall and he plays like he's like 6'5", and it's really frustrating.
Yeah, and just we'll cover all of the bigs at the end of this. How about that? Because that's kind of its own topic.
Yeah, Marquis Noel, he finishes with no points.
He had the bad mark. It's Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah,
we unfortunately got Jekyll.
Yeah, he only played 20 minutes in this game because he was in foul trouble pretty much the entire game. He was 0-6 from the field, missed his lone 3-point attempt, had 2 rebounds, 4 fouls, 3 assists, 3 turnovers, and 2 steals. And the foul situation was really rough because he got 2 fouls in the first half, and then he came back in at the beginning of the second half and got 2 fouls in like 30 seconds because he fouled a Baylor player and then went right down the floor and drew a charge, or he caused a charge, that is. And so that's a give it right back to Baylor. And all of a sudden, with 17 minutes to go, your best ball handler has 4 fouls, and that is not conducive to offensive success.
No.
So a really, really, really rough day for Marquis Noel. Kasubuki, we already did talk about his 4 points. He had 2 layups, 0-3 from 3, 2 rebounds, a foul, and an assist. He had a very pedestrian stat line. Didn't do much bad. didn't do a ton that was good other than some nice layups. But I'm not going to sit here and actively complain about Lucas Subke, especially when we got
bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, and plus we have Nigel and Mark that play his relative position and are good. Yeah. So the reason that we have fish to fry with the bigs is because none of them are playing well right now. Carlton Lingard, he had 10 minutes, missed his field goal attempt, was 2-2 at the free throw line, and had a block.
And this, I'm not going to say it was the most frustrating play of the game. That probably belongs to... Oh, didn't Davion just swat the ball out of bounds?
Davion he had 2 frustrating rebounding plays, because he had one where he had an easy rebound, and he took the ball and just kind of spiked it at the ground out of bounds when he could have just grabbed it because nobody else went for it. And it was really bad.
Yeah.
And then he also had one where he went up for a defensive rebound and it hit him right in the hands and it just bounced out of them, and then he just kind of hit it because he got frustrated. And
then he hit it right to a Baylor
player. He hit it right to a Baylor player, I think. And then he did get a block at one point. It was one of his few really good plays. He had a nice block on either Thamba or Chamo Chachua.
It was Flo.
I think it was Flo, because Chamo Chachua went 9 of 10 from the field. So Thamba, I think he blocks him, and then the ball just flies out to the perimeter, and they make a 3. So it's why? Just let them take the 2.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say about Carlton?
Carlton had the play. Granted, it was with 40 seconds left. This was the play where you and I looked at each other and said, "There's nothing for us here. There's nothing else we can say." We just left.
Yeah.
Because he just let the ball, on a rebound, he just let the ball go off his hands and made no effort to try and pick it up. And we said, "All right, if you're not gonna try, we're not either. Let's leave."
Yeah.
Which the game's lost at that point, but
yeah,
for a team that's motto this year has been this never say die attitude, that was kind of a moment where we died. Yeah, we said die.
Yeah, Carlton, he had probably the
best day of all the bigs.
Yeah, I think he had the best day of all the bigs, which is unfortunate because he had 2 points and didn't really do anything else. He was defensively not great because he's just not a good defender.
Never has been.
And he doesn't have the mass, really, to be that interior guy that we need. Davion he's honestly the only person on the roster that can play interior defense. But even then, he just offensively has had one of the biggest regressions that I've ever seen from a K-State basketball player. I don't think I can compare it to anything. And Casey Ziegu, he comes in, he plays 6 minutes. He dunked. He had a wide open dunk.
Oh God.
Yeah, Mark Smith. He just gave it to him, and he had an easy dunk for 2 points, and a rebound, and he had a foul, and that was it. Because Casey on defense, I think he gave up points. I think on 3 straight possessions just from overhelping, not getting back on his screens, and just in general playing really, really bad defense. And he's unplayable, honestly, at this point in the season, because it's clear that he has not recovered from the leg injury the way that we thought he has. He's not dealing with the brace as well as Ayoka Lee is on the women's team. And
Robo leg,
the bionic leg. But, Casey is effectively playing on a single leg at this point, and he already wasn't
very good defender.
He already wasn't the best. He was an all right shot blocker, but he wasn't great at staying in front of people. I just didn't have a lateral movement for it. But, this leg injury's really exposed him defensively. And at this point, all he's good for really is wide open dunks and easy blocks. No, that's no pun intended.
God.
We can't
keep getting away with that.
That was an accident.
Yeah.
That was an accident.
Yeah.
But, and then Ish Masudi played 13 minutes, missed all of his shots, had 2 rebounds, 2 fouls, and a turnover. Pretty abysmal stat line from Ish, who has really fallen from grace here recently, because he had an all right start to the season, and he's really just not been good recently, which is unfortunate. But
and now we can talk about the big problem. So But the pun again. So that one was also unintentional. We might be stupid. We're calling this episode Pushin' Puns. Can you actually put that on the notepad there? But all of our bigs have fallen off the face of the earth, and Ish was one of the one that hurts me the most is Ish, because I thought Ish still has a beautiful shot.
He does,
but it just never goes in.
Yeah.
Davion. Okay, someone in our section made the Davion to Will Howard comparison. Do you remember the exact words I said to you?
Yes.
I will slightly change what I said, but I said something to the effect of those are the type of people who substitute milk in their cereal with glue. Will Howard's better, but still, Davion is having a. Okay, I just don't want to talk about the people in our section. Yeah. Actually, now that I think about it, but
they were all a little stupid. But
they might be.
Davion, he has the unfortunate distinction
of being the one playable big. Sorry,
that's okay. But he, right now, Bruce is essentially doing the math and seeing none of his bigs are an offensive threat, and that's a fact. And he's looking basically at who's the best defender. And the answer is Davion. And honestly, probably followed by Carlton. Not even easy at this point. And then Ish, who kind of doesn't really play their position, but it's the small ball 5. But even then, he's just been inept offensively recently. Davion, he is unfortunately the sacrificial lamb for the bigs because he is the only one that's legitimately playable. And even then, he is a massive liability offensively, because whatever semblance of offense he had gained last year, and it looked like quite a bit, because he was averaging 8 points and 4 rebounds a game in Big 12 play, and he is nowhere even close to those numbers this season. It's far below that. One of the worst single season regressions I've ever seen. But the only reason Davion's playing right now is because he has a semblance of post defense. Easy does not have that by any stretch of the imagination, and Carlton is below average to not good, but is better than Easy in the post, and that he still has 2 functional legs.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's not fair to Easy. It truly isn't.
But unfortunately, it's the truth.
Unfortunately, it's the truth. Easy, I know there were a lot of questions floating around when we took him about his ability to play at the Power 5 level. And I think a lot of that has just been magnified by the fact that he is just not healthy. And even if his leg is technically playable, he's not at a point where it seems like he's comfortable enough to play with that injury. So at this point, honestly, I think it would be better to, whenever Logan Landers is healthy again, because I believe he is injured, whenever Logan is healthy, to just shut Easy down for the rest of the season and just get to work on PT with his leg and just get him comfortable moving again.
Yeah.
Because right now he just doesn't seem very comfortable moving. So, and then just give his minutes to Carlton and then split Davion and Carlton about 15 minutes apiece and start based on matchup.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily an answer to the bigs issue, because I don't think there is one, because I don't think
just finding another big somewhere.
Yeah, because I just don't think there's a Big 12 starting center on this roster right now with at least the talent that they've been displaying, which last year's Davion is absolutely a Big 12 starter. Yeah. But for whatever reason, this year's Davion is not. I will say I do feel bad for him, because I think the student section is a little too hard on him. Like, I think it's trashy to boo your own players.
Yeah, and it happened multiple times.
Yeah.
Which
and then also the opposite of cheering when he comes out, which, like, I get it. He's not playing very well, but
at least that one you can pretend you're cheering the guy coming in. But
yeah, that's honestly almost as bad.
Well, yeah, but we obviously always root for people to succeed. Yeah. And we're the first people to try and defend people when they're, oh God, that sounds harsh, but it's kind of true when they're worth defending.
Yeah.
Davion right now, does he deserve the fan base's ire and that he deserves to be booed by them? No. Does he deserve to have numerous question marks about his game?
Yeah.
Yes. But we can spend an entire another 30 minutes on the bigs, but let's not.
Yeah. I don't feel like going to endless soliloquies and monologues about Davion and Carlton and Casey when at the end of the day none of them are playing well. And it's been that way for quite a while. I don't remember the last time we had a player taller than 6'5" score double figures. Which is a great question. I feel
it was probably
ish.
Had it been? It probably ish this year.
I think it was,
or maybe Casey, because Casey had a stretch where he was scoring reasonably well.
I think it was ish.
It's probably ish, but
I truly think it's ish, and it's only because he is almost exclusively an offensive threat, and also because I don't think Davion has scored more than 10 points in a game this season. Ish did have 13 at West Virginia on January 8th. Lingard has not come close. No. I do know that. Davion, he did have 7 against Oklahoma State. But other than that, I don't know if he's eclipsed 10 points on the season.
No, but yeah, so the bigs aren't doing well, but nevertheless, if you want to, I still really want to support this team, even if it is sometimes tough to watch. The next time they play is Valentine's Day, the day after the Super Bowl in Manhattan against West Virginia. Very winnable game. I will certainly be there because I have nothing better to do on Valentine's Day. Some people do. I'm not one of them.
Davion had 9 against Marquette.
Oh.
That's his season high. Wait, no, he also had 9 against Nebraska.
Oh, so close.
So, yeah, he was very close. I'm going to check out Casey's game log now.
Yeah, next game's West Virginia, followed by Iowa State in Ames.
It's Iowa State in Ames and then West Virginia.
Okay.
Because Iowa State in Ames is a Saturday.
Okay.
But Wichita State, Casey had 14, and he had 15 against North Dakota. Granted, everybody on the face of the earth played well against North Dakota.
That's true.
Yep.
We pick our games weirdly.
Yeah, so, and I think it's those 2 games for Casey, and then a handful of games for Ish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games in double figures for Ish, but he hasn't done that since January 8th, so it's been a little over a month.
Yeah, a little over a month.
So
he's died. He's gone.
Yeah, so that was a fun little bit of research that just made me sad.
Women's Catsketball.
Yep. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on to the women's Catsketball team, who we will also kind of try to speed through, and we will go. It's going to be over an hour 10. Let's just accept that. But the next game was against TCU in Bramlage Coliseum, and this was the game. We were at this game.
Yep.
And it was a victory in favor of your women's Catsketball team, 63-54, and this was actually a really fun game.
Yeah, this was. Now, this is a game that TCU, they came out, as I recall, this game started with a lot of K-State points, and then TCU, it's like they delayed starting the game, it felt like, if I recall it correctly, and then they went on a run, actually led at the end of the first quarter. Then this essentially became a game of runs, but K-State had one that was just long enough in the second quarter, and then they were able to, for the rest of the game, when TCU would have a quick run, they would respond with one of their own.
Yeah.
But K-State does end up winning this game, 63-54, and they're able to hold off the Horned Frogs. And this is a game where Ayoka Lee was actually injured briefly.
And this was the game where they cheered it. I remember this game, and they refused to shake hands afterwards.
Yeah, TCU, they were being some bums in this game, I'm not going to lie.
Poverty program.
They were being awful. One of their players, throws Ayoka Lee to the ground, hard, because we were sitting near the top
And we heard it.
Yeah, we heard it because it
Heard
echoed.
Smack.
Yeah, it like echoed in Bramlage during an active basketball game where there were over 5,000 people there. So, it was a loud smack. And she was down for about a minute after it happened. And she went off to the sideline, went through concussion protocol, and then came back and dropped 21 points. And she went 8 of 18 from the field for Aoka Lee, 7 rebounds, 2 fouls, 1 assist, 1 turnover, went 5 of 5 from the free throw line. So not her greatest game by any stretch of the imagination, but when you put into context that she was literally like thrown down, like
she entered the WWE match for a minute.
Yeah, and she did not look like she was doing well. And she ends up coming back and performs fairly well, all things considered. And definitely not her most efficient shooting day either, but we'll take it, all things considered. Other starters, Briley Glenn and Jalen Glenn, they had 12 points and 11 points respectively, although neither of them were super efficient from the field. Briley, 2 of 7 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, but she did make 6 free throws. And she had 3 rebounds, 2 fouls, 2 turnovers, 2 steals. Jalen had 3 of 9 from the field, 3 of 7 from 3, made 2 free throws out of 2 attempts, 1 rebound, 3 fouls, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 1 block, and 3 steals. So really stuffed the stat sheet there. Emily Ebert had 8 points, 3 of 8 from the field, 0 of 2 from 3, 2 of 3 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, 3 steals. Again, a lot of steals from those guards. And Serena Sundell, she had a really interesting game where she only had 3 points, 1 of 5 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, but she did have 8 assists to just 3 turnovers. She had a block, 3 rebounds, 3 fouls, and despite her struggling from the field, she was still chosen. Her teammates had the confidence to get her the ball very late in the game when she made a dagger 3 in the corner.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Right in front of the bench, because she had been struggling shooting all day long. She was not shooting well at all. And she still had the confidence, and her teammates had the confidence in her to get her the ball late, especially because it went to one of the Glenn twins. I think it was Jalen, and she was open on the wing, and she could have taken the shot, but she made the extra pass to a wide open Serena Sundell, who then drained the 3 with not a ton of time remaining, and was able to put the game out of reach for the Cats. Other players, Dollinger had 6 points, 2 of 5 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 1 rebound, 1 foul, 0 assists, 3 turnovers, and a steal. I don't know why the word foul was so hard. But
I was trying to remember the foul. I thought that's what you were struggling with. Because I don't remember her fouling.
I don't either. It was probably something random. But
yeah.
Sloan Goodrich, she had 2 points, 3 rebounds, 1 foul, and that was it. 1 of 4 from the field. And Mackie, Jada Moore, and Taylor Lauterbach, they all registered minutes and did not have a single shot attempt. So no points for them either. Mackie had a rebound. Jada Moore had 2. Lauterbach had 1. 4 assists, though, for Laura Mackie to just 1 turnover and a steal. Moore added 2 fouls, and then Lauterbach had a block.
You mean Lauterbach?
Lauterbach.
Oh, my God.
This is the worst episode of Aggieville.
No, it's not.
That's true.
Roger just won the MVP.
Not good for him. But the Cats didn't shoot super well from the field, but they did make their 3-pointers count. They shot 35% from the field, 38% from 3, 93.8% from the foul line. Just a single missed free throw. That was from Emily Ebert. Way to go.
Jeez. Brutal.
But yeah, the Cats, this was a very ugly game, but it was also an encouraging game because, it told me that this team, if nothing else, does have a lot of talent. They may just not be able to win on the road, but when they're at home, even if they aren't necessarily playing the best, they are going to play well, and they're going to out-athlete, if nothing else, the other team, which is rare for
a K-State team.
For a K-State team.
Anywhere.
Yeah, and it just showed that they were able to use their talent to overcome a fairly solid day from an opponent. So, yeah.
But unfortunately, our next game was on the road, and we cannot win on the road. It just can't happen.
No.
Unfortunately, this was one that we probably needed to pick up on the road.
Yeah.
Because it was against the Iowa State Cyclones, and we ended up falling in this game 70-55, and by all accounts, not a fun game. Not at all.
No.
Which is a common theme for away games, and there's one more away game we have to cover, and probably the worst game this year.
Yeah. But this was a strange game. Iowa State, they did shoot really well from the field, but they didn't score as much as you would think. They didn't get to the foul line as much as they normally do. And they didn't have one person just come out. Yeah, Ashley Jones had a quiet night for her standards, although she still was very efficient from the field and made her mark. She only had 11 points for Iowa State. Emily Ryan had 15, but it was tough sledding for the Cats. They only go 36% from the field, 25% from three, 60% from the free throw line. Riley Glenn finishes with 19 points, although she did get a lot of those in garbage time. So it's a little inflated, but she goes 7-12 from the field, 3-6 from 3, 4 rebounds, 1 foul, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 2 steals. Ayoka Lee has not the best game for her standards.
What compels people to be loud on phone calls?
I don't know. I actively try to be quiet on phone.
Yeah.
But Ayoka Lee has 12 points, 8 rebounds, 2 fouls, 2 assists, 1 turnover, 3 blocks on 6 of 16 from the shooting on a single free throw attempt. I find it hard to believe she wasn't fouled in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Home cooking, maybe.
Yep. Jalen Glenn added 7 points, 3 of 10 from shooting, 1 of 6 from the 3-point line, 2 rebounds, 3 fouls, 1 assist, 1 steal. Sundell added 3 points, a not great shooting night for her. 1 of 9 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 6 rebounds, 2 fouls, 4 assists, 5 turnovers, and a block. Ebert had 1 3-point basket, 1 of 6 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. Other than that, it was scattered scoring from the Cats. Mackey had 5, Simone Goodrich had 4, Dollinger had 2, Jada Moore and Taylor Lauterbach, they both played, but neither registered any points. Lauterbach actually registered no statistics at all. She only played 2 minutes in this game. And then Goodrich, actually 2 of 2 from the field, and she had 3 assists to no turnovers with 2 rebounds. So solid stat line there from Goodrich. Dollinger, she had 3 fouls, 1 assist, and a steal to go with 3 rebounds. Jada Moore, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, a block, 3 rebounds. But nobody's standing out for women's Catsketball here other than Briley Glenn. And even then, like I said, she had a lot of points late in the game. The Cats, they shoot 50% from 3, 61% from the field in the fourth quarter when they were already down by 20. So it only vaguely mattered. Yeah, when you have a third quarter where Iowa State outscores you 24-8, I mean, you're really just burying yourself. So, but yeah, tough sledding for the Wildcats. This was a game that I was really hoping that they would be able to get over the hump and win an away game, but inefficient offense on the road, another slow start, and just not being able to get Ayoka Lee going in a place that isn't Bramlage. So on one hand, that is really frustrating because, I mean, you play half your games away in conference play. So, I mean, if you can't win away, you're not going to have the best conference record.
Because we've only lost 1 conference home game, right? And it was off that Bank 3 in which both of us kind of wanted to just curl up into a ball and never talk to anyone ever again. Yeah,
that's exactly what it was. And that was Iowa State, and that was a game that was completely blown by the Cats. But, tough sledding on the road, but I think they'll figure it out eventually. It's a really young team. I'm more excited about next year and this year.
Next year's going to be nuts, dude.
Yeah, I am very excited for the women's Catsketball team next year. But tough sledding for the women's Catsketball on the road.
Yep. But they returned home to get revenge against the previous opponent in the Texas Tech Red Raiders, a game we ended up winning 82-75. And this was another... It goes without saying, every single time we do one of these episodes, they get surprisingly, freakishly good home crowds, which good.
Yeah. Yeah, this crowd I would say that it was probably more full than some of the men's games this year.
Oh yeah, that's easy.
It was definitely more full. It was more full than I'd say all of the men's non-conference games other than Marquette and even a few of the Big 12 games. But the crowds, they get bigger every single time. It seems like with the women's team, as more and more people are becoming aware of
that, like, wait a minute, they're good.
Yeah, of the success that they're having. Because it'd been a few years since they had truly been a force to be reckoned with. But the Cats, they do end up victorious 82-75 over Texas Tech. This was another game where Texas Tech, they had a lot of little runs to close the gap, and then the Cats would have to really coalesce and come together and figure it out and find a way to stop them and make their own run. And they did it because they were at home.
Yeah, because they're at home and they feed off the energy, even though Texas Tech had a player, I think it was Vivian Gray, and she dropped like nearly 40. She had a Nigel Pack day.
Yeah, she had 36, 14 of 19. Yeah, Vivian Gray, one of the best shooters in the conference. She had 36 points, but they're almost all mid-range jumpers, 14 and 19 from the field, just 1 of 2 from 3, perfect from the free throw line. So she was absolutely excellent. She was the entire Texas Tech offense. Only one other player in double figures. That was Shantae Embry, who had 11 points for them. But Vivian Gray was the show for them and was just absolutely phenomenal. She did get into foul trouble late, as all of Texas Tech did.
Yeah, including their coach, which she ended up getting teched. Texas Tech.
Yeah, she got a Texas Tech. So, but yeah, because there was a timeout where I don't know how well they explained it on the broadcast, but there was a timeout where I forget exactly.
Krista was going for the throat.
Yeah, I forget exactly what the situation was, but something happened, and Texas Tech's coach, Krista Gerlich, I think is her name.
I know her first name's Krista because that's my mother's first name.
Yeah, I think it's Gerlich because I'm pretty sure Bryn Gerlich is her daughter, and she's on the team. So Krista Gerlich, I'm fairly certain her name is. Might be wrong. Who cares? Anywho,
no one asked.
But she was very, very upset with a foul call. I think she thought that somebody on K-State, I think it was Ayoka Lee. She was upset because she thought Ayoka Lee was fouling.
She thought elbow.
It was
she
elbowing.
thought she threw an elbow.
Yeah, and she kept saying that it was an elbow that she was throwing. And
she's just tall.
That's exactly what the ref said. And he basically was like, look, Ayoka Lee is just really tall. Your players are not as tall as her. Like, she's just trying to position. Like, get over it, basically.
Yeah.
And she just
ballistic.
Yeah, she just refused to stop talking after the ref did the whole hand thing. Like, they literally do the talk to the hand. Like, that's like their protocol. And then she kept going, and then she finally said something where the ref just said, okay.
All right, you're done.
And teed her up. And then she about got a double technical. She got very close, I think, to getting a double technical. But she ended up biting her tongue, at least for a little while. And
no, one of the assistant coaches pulled her away.
Yeah. And then he went over and like chatted with the ref and like tried to like smooth things over, but I don't think it worked.
It didn't work.
Because Texas Tech had a lot of fouls down the stretch. And I think that was almost entirely. I mean, they had 25 fouls for the game compared to 18 for K-State.
No,
this was a really tight
game. Very foul game.
Yeah. And it was especially the second half, as I recall, where there were just a lot of whistles.
The third quarter was literally the refs try not to call a foul for 15 seconds game time challenge, and they were failing miserably.
Yeah. It was a very, very slow game for a little while. But K-State, they do end up victorious. Ayoka Lee, in 31 minutes, had 31 points, 12 of 15 from the field, 7 of 9 from the free throw line, 7 rebounds, 3 fouls, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, 3 blocks. Something that Jeff Mitty did during this game that I thought was really funny was after Krista Gerlich got the technical foul for complaining about Ayoka Lee, he put Ayoka Lee out to shoot the technical free throws, and she made both of them. And I thought that was really funny.
Dude, I had a good laugh about that.
Yeah, I thought it was absolutely hilarious.
Because it objectively is.
Yeah. Jalen Glenn had 16 points, 6 of 8 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. Excellent shooting day for Jalen Glenn. I believe had a freshman of the week honor. and 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover, 1 block, and 6 steals. Excellent day. Briley Glenn had 14 points, 6 of 11 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, 1 of 3 from the free throw line, and then 1 rebound. Unfortunately, fouled out with 5
and
fouls.
She looked like she didn't know the protocol. Like she'd clearly never been fouled out before because she kind of looked around like, what do I?
Yeah, like, now what?
Well, now what do I do?
And she had 4 assists, 2 turnovers, and 2 steals. So really nice day. And Serena Sundell played all 40 minutes, had 12 points, 1 of 7 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3. You're asking how'd she get 12 points? She was 9 of 10 from the free throw line, and then had 3 rebounds, 4 fouls, 7 assists, 2 turnovers, and a block. So really inefficient from the field again for Serena Sundell. She did a lot of driving and got blocked a lot while she was driving. Yeah. At least it felt like it, or just like wasn't able to like get it up as well. But she ended up with a good game, and especially in the assist to turnover ratio department. And then Emily Ebert had 3 points, 1 of 4 from the field, didn't make any threes, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 2 fouls, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, and a steal. And then you get to the bench. Mackey had 4 points. Simone Goodrich had 2. Dollinger, Lauterbach, Jada Moore, they did not register any points. Dollinger 0 of 4 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3. Had 3 fouls, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, a rebound. Lauterbach had a foul and a turnover. Jada Moore registered no statistics. But this game was basically the Aoka Lee show with the Glenn twins chiming in now and again, and Sundell getting the ball to them, which has basically been the story of the season. Yeah. You go back and look at Texas Tech's shooting statistics, and it's remarkable that the Cats were able to do what they did in this game.
How do we win this?
Yeah, because
we're at home.
Yeah, Texas Tech, they shoot 55.8% from the field for the game. They shot 50% or better in every single quarter, which I have not seen in a while, or ever maybe. And they shoot 41.7% from 3, including 60% in the fourth quarter and 80% from the free throw line. That's Texas Tech statistics, by the way. Ultimately, what harmed them the most was they didn't get despite Vivian Gray having 36 points, they didn't get her the ball enough. And then
it's like, wow.
Yeah. And they had 25 points playing Hack-a-Shack with Aoka Lee and Serena Sundell. And they also
lost.
Yeah. And they had 19 turnovers. Shout out to the Glenn twins for Jalen having 6 steals and Briley having 2 steals. So 9 steals as a team is incredible. And K-State on the other end, they only had 14 turnovers. So, and they still did shoot fairly well. They shot 55% from the field, including 66% in the fourth quarter. Although they were only 30.8% from 3. Some of that is because if you weren't named Jalen Glenn, you probably weren't shooting well from 3 this game. Dollinger was 0 of 3. Ebert was 0 of 2. Briley Glenn was 1 of 4. And then they shot 78.6% from the free throw line. This was a very interesting game. It was very similar to the TCU game. That was a game of runs, and K-State just had one more run in them than Texas Tech did. They were able to fend them off, and they were also able to lock down defensively when they needed to.
Yeah.
But even then, they were still playing excellent defense on Vivian Gray, and she would just hit anything, it felt like. I mean, like when she would miss, it was like a sigh of relief as opposed to like, okay, let's like go play offense. Like you take a second, like how'd that happen?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the shots she made were with a hand in her face, were like a step back, like impossible shot. Not many players are making shots like that. I mean, she basically Nigel Pack.
Yeah, basically. Just different position and exact opposite play style.
Yeah, we should have known because she has the double shooting sleeves. So,
oh, yeah.
Because I mean, it's one thing to have a shooting sleeve on your shooting arm, but
if you have double, it's over.
Yeah, the double shooting sleeves, you're either like an incredible shooter or the worst shooter on earth, and there's not really any in between. Like, because I've seen the Glenn twins do this double shooting sleeves occasionally. Yeah. I think it's one of them. They might actually do it more often than I think. But Vivian Gray, it was just very like noticeable because they're like red sleeves, so they're very bright. It's like, oh, interesting. But all in all, it was a pretty solid women's Catsketball victory, 82-75.
Yeah, we followed this up with, oh god, I don't want to spend much time on this because it's.
I don't either.
We lost 90-55. I would honestly just go over points.
That was generous. It's 95-50.
Oh.
Yeah. This game, Baylor, it was close after one quarter, 18-14 in favor of Baylor, and then they just went on a tear for 2 quarters where...
And then Sundell was hurt.
Yeah, for 2 straight... in the second and third quarters combined, which is a half of basketball, Baylor outscored us, 60-24? Yeah.
In the second and third?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be 60-24.
Yeah. That's rough.
Mathematics.
Yeah, so this is the team we beat earlier in the season.
At home.
They didn't like that, so we went on the road.
And then died.
Yeah, so this is the Baylor of old that we're used to. Baylor shot 57% from the field, 58% from 3, including 83% in the second quarter from 3, like 68% from the field that quarter. I mean, they were just
nuts. Shooting
out of their minds. I mean, they had 2 players break 20. They had 2 more with 19. I mean...
oh my god. 19.16 boards.
I mean, literally had the Mark Smith stat line, except there were other good players.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was a rough day. This was the same day as the K-State men's basketball loss to Baylor.
Oh yeah, this day sucked.
Yeah, and also both of those Baylor teams are ranked 10th. Really strange.
I think 10th and 11th because they in net rankings they're both ranked 11th as well.
Oh really?
I think.
Oh, that's strange.
I know they're both ranked 10 in AP for sure.
Yeah, but we'll go over the stats. Riley Glenn had 10 points, 2 rebounds, 3 fouls, 1 block, 3 steals, 4 of 9 from the field. Didn't make her 3-point attempt. 2 of 2 at the free throw line. Only Wildcat in double figures. Aoka Lee didn't even make it to double figures at 8 points, 3 of 8 from the field, 2 of 3 from the free throw line, 6 rebounds, 3 fouls, an assist, 2 turnovers, 3 blocks.
She got like 2 of those in the first 3 minutes.
Yeah,
fouls.
Yeah, the fouls. Yeah, she got into foul trouble really quick. She ended up only playing 20 minutes in this game as well.
That's not a winning formula.
No, just because of foul trouble, and I also think Jeff Mitty probably benched her in the final quarter because it just wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
And Emily Ebert played 23 minutes, 6 points, 2 of 7 from the field, made 2 threes, 1 rebound, 2 turnovers, a steal. Jalen Glenn, 28 minutes, had 3 points, 1 of 7 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3, missed both her free throws, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, no turnovers, a foul. Serena Sundell, she had a foul, and that was it because she hurt her ankle really early in this game. Again, we weren't able to watch this game because we were at the men's game, and we checked the score, and we were down by like 1 million, so we didn't want to sit there and watch it because
we had another game where we were down 1 million.
Yeah, we had another game that was a lot close, or it was relatively closer, at least at halftime, and this game was out of hand by then. Simone Goodrich had 9 points, 3 of 8 from the field, 3 of 5 at the free throw line, played 27 minutes to fill in for Sundell, and then had 2 rebounds, 1 foul, 2 assists, 3 turnovers. Jada Moore, 5 points, 2 of 4 from the field, 0 of 1 from 3, 1 of 2 at the free throw line, 4 fouls, 3 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal, 2 rebounds. Dollinger, 4 points and 2 turnovers. Mackey, 3 points, 3 turnovers, a rebound. And Taylor Lauterbach had 2 points on 1 of 7 shooting, missed a 3, 4 rebounds, and 3 fouls, and a steal. That's rough. Cats, they shot 32.7% from the field, 21% from 3, 61.1% from the free throw line, that is. And there's not a lot to say about this game other than pain.
It sucked.
Yeah. I will say at least we were able to split the series with Baylor this year. I mean, when you lose like 36 in a row to a team, just getting 1 win is a nice starting point.
Yeah.
Is what I'll say.
Yeah.
And Baylor's always going to be an incredible women's basketball team, even without Kim Mulkey. They may not be as dominant as they were, but they're still going to be a force to be reckoned with, as we learned. But
I can barely stand it.
So anyways, yeah, your point guard getting hurt early in the game, and
is that a point of contention? I'm waiting for you to just turn around and smack me.
You're reaching, man. You're reaching too hard for these. Aoka Lee only playing 20 minutes. You know, it just makes for, it's not a winning formula. I mean, especially when you have a point guard playing that I don't think I ever attempted a three in her life. I mean, that makes it difficult to really succeed. So, I mean, there's a lot of things went wrong early in this game, and they were able to hang around for a quarter. Frankly, it's impressive they were able to do that. But even then, losing by 45 points to a team that you beat at one point in this season is kind of embarrassing. And
yeah.
And I even if it's Baylor, this is still a good team, and there's athletes on this team. And, I'm just very disappointed in how this game went. I mean, I didn't expect them to go down to Waco and win.
No.
Especially if you told me Sundell would get hurt and Lee would play 20 minutes. But I definitely didn't expect it to be a 45-point loss. That is what I will say.
Yeah. But the women's Catsketball team play... Oh, goodness. When do they play next?
I believe their next game is on Saturday.
I'm assuming in Manhattan. Unless I'm wrong.
It's a great question.
We're professionals, I swear.
No, it's not. It's at KU.
Okay, so we're playing in Lawrence. So obviously support the women's Catsketball team. Watch them on ESPN+. But that pretty much wraps up this episode of the Aggieville Alleycats. If you want to reach out and contact the show, we are at Aggieville Alleycats on Twitter. That's capital A, and capital C in cats. If you want to email us, we're AggieVilleAlleycats@gmail.com. And if you want to follow us on a more personal note, I am at AceEdward00.
I am at Connor Balthazar, capital C, capital B.
And if you want to support the show in a financial sense, you can go to the official Aggieville Alleycats merch store where we have such designs as Neon Alley Cats and Play Sandstorm Cowards. But most importantly, thank you all for listening to this episode of the Aggieville Alleycats podcast. Or come rain, shine, or anything in between, we're here to deliver to you the Kansas State sporting news that you say love. Stay safe, Alleycats.